All right. It is my privilege to introduce Carrie Brown for everybody. And Carrie, it's all you. Tell them your story.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you, Steve, for the honor of being here and being able to talk to everyone. And can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Well, I tell you what, life is an adventure. That's all I can say. And so I've just been kind of embracing it and just going with the flow. And it's taken me to a lot of different places, including Steve. So, like I said earlier, I met Steve when I was laid off from Optum after being there 8 years. And I had worked with Optum during the COVID era and all of that. So, getting out into the workforce was a completely different lay of the land. There was LinkedIn and all of this stuff, and I'm like, what is going on here? And then you had like 22 interviews for one job, and then they give you work assignments and all this stuff. I'm like, what is going on here? So initially, I had a lot of interesting, like just like learning curves with all of that, but so I'll get into that in just a second. But my background for I know we kind of talked about it earlier, but I don't think you were recording, Steve, for those who couldn't attend today. But I'm a nurse by trade. My cowboy days were, I started off in the ICU. I did neurotrauma and open heart surgeries for a while. And then I kind of progressed in my career and did public health, pop health, value-based care, and kind of found myself, I worked with the state and did a lot of pilots, kind of designing complex care programs. And so then I was working in a PACE center. I was running a PACE center, which is, I hate to say adult daycare, but that's essentially what it is for those of you that don't know what it is. But it's a great program. But anyway, so I was running that and I was minding my own business when I got a call from Dr. Bush, who I was working with, who was the state medical director, and says, "Hey, that pilot we did together, I need you to translate this to this company called Optum." And I'm like, "What's an Optum?" I had no idea. I had been, in the private sector. I hadn't been in insurance at all. And so I ended up starting my career then at United Health Group on the Optum side of the world for 8 years. And so I was the director of health management and kind of ran a state Medicaid program with nurses, social workers, and care coordinators. And then when that contract ended, I bumped over to the National Clinical Initiatives teams, where I got to stand up a whole bunch of different programs and work nationwide, which was really fun. And kind of my last, I guess, show with the initiatives was for the behavioral health program. So I got to help with deprescribing like high risk medications for more senior populations that didn't necessarily need to be on them, and that 9 times out of 10 the primary care doctors didn't even know that they were on them. So we got to stop them before they were started, which was really nice. So then, that's after that layoff, I met Steve and I'm a single mom. I had, I won't get into the volume of severance, but let's say it was lackluster. And I only had a certain amount of dollars to get me through. And so I was pretty savvy budget wise. And like I said, I started my adventure with LinkedIn and trying to figure out this whole lay of the land. And I quickly learned, um, you know, you don't want to spend 24 hours a day in front of your computer, because that was me. Like I was obsessed with getting a job and I really burned myself out within 3 months. I mean, I was burned out. I think I sent out like 102 applications. I got one interview, which, then I learned about the whole 8 step process and I made it to like step 5. And then, they had planned to go with somebody different. And I was just so discouraged. I'm like, you get all these rejection letters as soon as you put them in, and it's, very, very discouraging. And I'm like, I have, a very versatile background. I don't understand, like, because it was a new era, with all of that. So what I did is I worked with Steve, and then I kind of tailored my resume. I did the whole gauntlet of tailoring it for each job offer, that you could put out there, like when you were applying. But I also did directly on the actual job sites themselves. I applied to jobs, and sometimes I would just change it up. Like, well, I'm not going to tailor it. I'm going to do my generic one just to see what happens. Like, I'll just go throw it out there. And but I decided, this is getting too insane for me. I was trying to take care of the kids and keep my sanity. And so I limited it to like almost like a part-time job. I said 4 hours a day. That's what I limited it to. And then I walked away and did something different. And I always tried to find something to be grateful for, which was really hard during those times. I mean, sometimes brushing my teeth was hard, I don't even want to shower today. It was so hard some days. And and Steve's, I don't know if all of you are on Steve's texting, but I look forward to those every day. That's like my little bright spot I get to wake up to. Thank you for keeping me positive when I really don't feel like I want to be. And so those are always really helpful too. But I did do like one thing for myself every day. Like I made myself do it, whether it was getting an ice cream cone, just do something that was just for me, that I could go out and do and just look forward to every day. So most of the time it was ice cream, which was not good for my waistline, but it was something to look forward to every day. With doing the applications, I learned quickly 9 times out of 10 it was the bots getting it. It wasn't somebody on the other side saying, Carrie, I don't like you. Go to the next. And so it was kind of like I said, a learning curve for all of that. And so I transitioned over to after 6 months, it took me 6 months to get on to a position. And I was like 24 hours away from, losing everything, like having to put my house up for sale and everything. And I finally got the job offer. And it was literally 24 hours. It was insane. But so I was very grateful for the position. Number one, it was a management position when I had done director, but they were just starting to grow the program. So there was a lot of growth potential. So I took it and decided, you know what, with the growth potential and everything else, I'm just gonna try it. It was a little backwards in my career, but I was gonna just do it because of the potential. So when I got on with them, we went like gangbusters, standing up programs, redesigning everything for care management, and then about I'd say 8 months, 7 months into it, I was with them for a year and 3 months, and they decided to kind of do a pivot with the company and did some reorgs and those type of things. And it found me in this new position. I don't want to get too much into it as far as like leadership and everything, but just a different, just a different, uh, I guess, atmosphere and culture that I was then part of. And so I had to take a hard look, like I had just spent 6 months trying to get this job. I knew what the market was like. I know what the market is currently like. And it was scary. Like, and I could just see things turning. So I think some of the warning signs that I saw was number one, the org changes, um, and watching what actually actions were taking place, not what they were saying, but like actions. Same thing with United. I could say that because they're a big company and you see a lot of that on TV, and I don't think it's like proprietary or anything, but watching the org changes, like what in the government, like with Medicare Advantage, for example, they were doing a lot of cuts. So what was that going to impact? And so I kind of really tried to read the room a lot and be proactive. Is this the direction that we're going sustainable for number one, my position, or is it going to be restructured? And so I quickly was kind of paying attention to like people leaving, why, and the rationale as to why, and and who was laid off and why were they reorged and who was aligning under what channel. And so you can kind of start paying when you start really paying attention to the actual actions and not the actual words, you can kind of see it starting to get set up. And so for me, it was more like watching that. And I quickly, with the change of being able to not really have that growth opportunity, that was one. I was kind of reorged under a channel that really wasn't growth mindset, which I'm all about. Like I love to grow and be creative and learn, and it was a stagnation for me, which I knew long term I was not going to like. And so I decided at that time when they let my boss go, okay, this is quickly becoming something that I don't see like sustainable. And the direction that things were going, I wasn't really like aligned culturally or value wise. So I decided at that time, this was 3 months ago, to really start actively looking while I had a position, which can be hard because, I work California hours. I work in I live in Mountain Standard Time, work California hours. So trying to get interviews very early or very late, that gets a little tricky, or trying to do them over your lunch hour when you only have so much time because I work remote. And I live, in the country, so it's 25 minutes out of town. So trying to go somewhere, meet somebody, it gets a little tricky to be back in time for regular work. So, but I didn't really limit myself. I really wanted like my diehards. I looked at what my diehards were, which was I wanted remote. I have a junior and senior left in the house, so it gets a little nutty when I was trying to work in a brick and mortar before. So I knew I really wanted remote. And as much as I loved my ICU days, I can't go back to bedside, because I really loved being able to build programs. And so I really took like a list of my diehards, and remote was being one of them. So I applied, and 3 months into it, I was able to fortunately uh, find myself in a place where it's a startup. Like I've never really done a startup company, but I mean, I shouldn't say a startup. It's been around for 9 years, but they were wanting to grow, which really aligned with my value systems and what I wanted to do with my career. And then I was back at the director level. So but it took a while. It took a while, and I do have to say, from a year ago to now, the market seems to be a little bit better. And I don't know why. And at least in my line of work, it definitely was a little bit better getting interviews. People actually responded. And I don't know whether it's just because I was more savvy this go around too, that I kind of knew what to do from the get-go. I did, what were some of my things I tried? I reached out to the recruiters constantly and friending them on LinkedIn. I had a LinkedIn profile. I did a lot with AI. Um, AI was like my best friend. Like it would help me with interviewing. So it has like on Chat GPT, for example, it has the voice commands. And so she was my therapist. And I would say, okay, so this is the deal. This is the background. This is why I'm doing it. And I'm going to be starting to talk to like the recruiter, or I'm talking to the hiring manager, or this is the VP of sales, or whatever. And so you put in who you're actually speaking to. And then I would say, okay, I'm interviewing for this. And I would put in the job description plus my resume into Chat GPT. And I said, here's, using the attached, ask me questions. Like, because, writing them down versus having somebody actually ask you the questions, that was always harder for me because I'm thinking as they're talking, and sometimes I would miss the questions. And so I would practice with Chat GPT asking me questions. And so that was extremely helpful. I also would have, put in the job description plus my resume, and then say, give me talking points for the interview. And I just bullets and anticipated questions. So I would do that route as well. So I kind of had it set up for each, like the recruiter versus the hiring manager versus, whatever level you were talking to next. And that was really, really helpful. And let's see, I've done a lot with, the open to work, like the green thing on LinkedIn that goes around your head. I've done that. And then I've done, what I found is I did that initially just to alert everybody like I was actively looking. But then I went behind the scenes and took it off. And then I went behind the scenes and, like you can put in there, help me out, Steve, with that one, where you can like be
Recruiters,
silent, open to work, or
recruiters only.
yeah. So I did that while I was active, like while I was working. I had to recruiters only. Um, you know, can my company recruiter see it? Sure. Do I think she was paying attention to it? No. But I would put recruiters only behind the scenes while you're actively looking, while you have a position. I did that. Um, I'm trying to think of what else. Uh, let's see, what else was there? I had some notes here. Um, but yeah, I think it was just more kind of reading the room and really looking at, my self-worth and dignity and what I wanted to do with my career and really taking a leap of faith, especially given, how close I was to losing everything the first time. It was extremely scary to me, but I decided, no, I'm going to take destiny into my own hands and do it. And so I did a lot with, like, if I know most of you have probably been to an airport. Have you guys, most of you been, I assume? And like the flat escalators that you walk on that you get to go like super fast and that kind of thing. Okay. So what I would envision is the escalator coming to me, and I was just standing there and the job was coming to me. And then that's how I visualized it. Like I'm landing this job. This is coming. I don't have to do anything. It's coming to me. So I would visualize it, and then I would visualize like what it was like on my first day, what I was gonna, how I was gonna react when I got the offer letter, what outfit I was gonna wear on my first day of work, like really like getting into what it was gonna feel like and all of that. And I would just put it on that escalator and boom, it was coming to me. So I did a lot with visualizations to keep myself sane. Everybody has their own method of whether it's prayer or visualization or I don't know, sage and crystals. I mean, everybody does all kinds of crazy stuff now. So it's like anything goes. I was just like, bring it all on. I'm just whatever helps me, get into a different position. I'm all about it. And how networking with other people, huge, huge. Like on LinkedIn, I met so many different people in all walks of life, all different careers. So I definitely encourage that. But I definitely friended a lot of recruiters, and I reached out directly to them, and then I would follow up at least twice a week. I would try to hold back. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, that was my recruiter day, reach out day. So that's how I kind of controlled myself because I'm kind of like a let's get it done kind of gal. So and then they just get annoyed if you bug them too much. But I still like I'm on your radar. Let's get going. What do you have today? So those are kind of some of the things that I did, and kind of reading the room. And I'm very, very grateful that I did because they did end up doing a reorg. So I was ahead of the curve on that. So I'm very grateful that I was kind of paying attention. But I don't know. I know I talked a lot. And that's kind of like just the gist of my background, some of the tips I did. I do know, like I had taken an executive presence class, if you want to call that, like being like your presence. And some of the tips that I learned from that is I don't know if any of you have seen these, but I'm not a very good example today because it's not hooked up to this laptop, but they have wireless mics. I highly, highly encourage them. And they come like in like earbuds. They're kind of like a 2-pack. Highly encourage them. You don't necessarily have to have this brand, but something similar. I highly encourage. And then they just clip onto your shirt, so you kind of feel like you're a news anchor or something, But the speaker quality on these are so much better. So I highly encourage people to use these like for everyday work. Once you get a job or whatever, it's they work great. You can really tell a difference. And then lighting, like I said, I'm not a very good example today, so I apologize. But they have like the desk lamps for good lighting. And so you can buy those on Amazon. They're pretty cost effective. I mean, you can get some for like 15 bucks. But the lighting, making sure like you're lit up and that you have good quality, lighting. That was another thing. Your background, if it's not neutral or something like that, buzz it out. You should see some of the stuff that is in people's backgrounds when you're interviewing. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so just really, really pay attention to your background or just put a sheet up. They don't know, they can't see it. Just put a sheet up or something that, would block a lot of that out. So I highly recommend that. And then having your camera at eye level, that was another thing. And then when you're also interviewing, you can scrunch down your notes, like the notes for the chat GPT stuff like I was talking about earlier. You can scrunch them down really little and put it up by your camera. So then when you're reading from it and scrolling, at least it's up by the camera visual. So those were some of the tips that I learned. But anyway, so like I said, I talked a lot. Um, so I'm pretty much open book. So hit me with what you got. Any questions?
Okay, I'll go around the Zoom with people.
Okay.
I'll just I'll randomly pick you, so be prepared. Uh, I will start with Christine Garner.
Hi, thank you so much. What a lovely presentation. And you
Thank you.
are so inspirational. The thing that really caught my attention is that you do see the signs when things are changing. And yeah, and in your mind, you're watching it happen, and you kind of are in this denial phase. It's like, well, it's not going to happen to us. Because the last job that I had, like, I mean, I just knew. And I did ask my boss, I'm like, are they like laying everybody off? Because they had just laid off the whole entire building beside us. And he's like, no, Christine, we're great. Everyone always needs an R&D department. And literally the next week, they laid off our whole department. I'm like, okay, gotcha. So, um, yeah. How, so I'm kind of in the same phase that you were in when like losing everything.
Yeah. Oh, honey, I'm hugging you. I am. I'm hugging you from Wyoming, big time. Oh,
And how do you pull your shit together in an interview when everything is riding on it?
well, I can completely empathize with you on all of that. And like I said, I'm giving you big hugs from Wyoming. It's hard because especially single mom, every little thing was on me, like insurance, everything. And it's hard. Like some days when I got laid off. And that's why I talk about being proactive because I saw the warning signs and I didn't act the first time because I was there 8 years. It was hard, like and changing and trying to get something different within the company. But I waited too long. And so with this go around, I'm like, nope, nope, I'm not doing it again. So that's why I think I was much more proactive with the second and it went a little bit easier because I didn't have that stress of, oh my gosh, I don't have a job, right? So I think, for you, number one, don't consume yourself on the computer because I'm telling you, I was looking for jobs, applying to jobs. I was there 12 hours every single day, just like determined to find something. Don't do that. Don't do that. Limit it to 4 hours and then go breathe. You have to go, you will drive yourself crazy. I did. I'm telling you, I did. I drove myself nuts. And so you gotta and pick one thing a day. Like I said, it doesn't even have to be expensive. It can be like, you're just gonna go for a walk or something. but pick one thing that you're going to do for yourself every single day. Mine was just getting out of bed there for a while. It was like, I'm going to get up and make my bed today. That was really, really hard because I just wanted to curl up into a ball and just like hide in my closet. And it was really hard. It's really, really hard. So I think what I ended up doing is I pretended like I was in a show. Okay. So like when you get up out of bed, you got to like, I don't know where your office is or your computer is, but you go into character, if you want to call it that. Or as my kids say, you got to lock in, as my kids say, right? So you lock in and just become this character for 10 minutes. And then I would block it down, like if your interview like is a half hour, so that you're not like super super stressed out going into it. Break it down. Like, okay, 5 minutes is going to be introductions, right? Last 5 minutes is going to be, do you have any questions, any follow-up questions? So really your interview is only like 20 minutes. So what can I do for 20 minutes? A lot of times I would have the recruiter talk a lot, ask them questions, right? Just to keep them on the line and keep them engaged, and ask them the questions so that you could mentally like get yourself together. I did a lot with before the interviews. I would listen to like a lot of like pump up music, and then you got to do like the pose, like the Superwoman pose, right? And so I did that a lot. And then like there's all these different things like you can pinch in here for like calming. There's like pressure release points in between your, I don't know if you can see it, like in between here, your thumb and the web part. You can pinch those and it helps. It's like a trigger point for your nerves. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I always hold like something in my hand because I'm a spaz and I'll talk with my hands all the time. So I always hold like a highlighter and hold it down so that I don't talk with my hands during the interview. And I think just focusing on like having the prep with the chat GPT, that really helps. So then you can just kind of go autopilot on the actual interview, because I feel you. I had one, you can ask Steve, I had one interview. Oh my gosh. I got onto this thing and it was there was like 10 people on it. And then they went around the room really fast and said, okay, this is my character. This is my character. And then they did like this role play thing. And I'm like, what is going on here? And like, I totally bombed that interview because I was not prepared for anything like that. So, so I think, giving yourself grace, it's very, very hard to keep it together 24/7. And it is okay not to be okay. And it's okay to cry. Believe me, I did a lot of it. But I do think doing at least something for yourself every day is really, really important. And Steve's, gratefulness, gratitude text that he sends out, I love those. Some days I'd read it and I'm just like, oh my gosh, thank you, Steve. And then you get into like I would go into like the really sad days because I had better days than others. Some days I just didn't get out of bed at all. I just didn't. It was really hard. And but I think just knowing that it's a phase, and you are. Even though we get all the rejection letters, everything like that, you are marketable. You are, you do bring value, and you have like these skill sets. You do, and you do bring value. So don't beat yourself up like, what is wrong with me? Am I reject? That was always my thing. Like, what is wrong with me? Like, I have a great background and all this experience and worked at the largest insurance company in the world, and I can't land an insurance job. What?
Yes.
So it's very discouraging, but I really recommend not burning yourself out, because you need that recharge time. You really do. And just go do something completely different, like go to a movie or something, right?
Right.
Yeah, you got to get away from the grind.
And it is a grind.
It is. So you gotta really limit yourself with that. That's the thing.
Thank you so much. And I really, honestly, when you were talking, I'm like, that is me. Yep, I feel that. Yep, I do that. Yeah, right.
Uh-huh.
So thank you so much. And I wish you all the amazing success in the
Oh,
world.
thank you. Yeah, and if I'm on LinkedIn too, I don't know, Steve, if you can find me and stick me in there while I'm talking, that would be great. But
I,
anybody
I,
can
I
reach
will.
out to
I
me.
will. I will.
Yeah, anyone can reach out, and I love like connecting people with others, like networking. I'm really big on networking and relationships. So, but it only gets you so far, like people in the company, but then other people were let go, and then they're in it, and then it almost becomes like with United. One company I called it United 2.0 because I swear like everybody went over there from United, and but I wanted something fresh. I wanted a new start. I wanted some like a different direction. So, I think just keeping your opportunities open is huge. What?
Thanks, Christine.
Yeah.
Next up is Spencer.
Carrie, thanks for presenting today. Appreciate that, and
Yeah.
really appreciate the vulnerability. Right, I think we're all kind of have that when you're without a job or you've been working somewhere for
Yeah.
such a long time.
Yeah.
I think the biggest piece, and you kind of mentioned it, is we all have to figure out what kind of can center us and not have it consume us. And so I think your advice there was good, and I appreciate you sharing that. Just finding some other way, and things will come along, and try to continue to have confidence in yourself. So thanks for sharing.
Yeah. You bet.
Okay. Next up is people keep on moving around on my screen. Okay. Okay.
Hollywood
Sean.
Squares.
Sean.
Well, I don't really have any questions. I just want to say congratulations, and it was you. I mean, your journey is awesome. We're all going through that, and like you say,
Yeah.
limiting yourself to. I was guilty of that at the beginning too. 10,
Mhm.
12-hour days looking on the computer. If I'm not finding a job, it's me, but it's not. It really isn't.
Mhm.
Um, and being vulnerable. But yeah, congratulations. It's
Oh,
amazing.
thank you. Yeah, it gets a little tricky.
Okay. Next up is Tommy.
There is. Um, Congratulations. I really don't have any questions. I do appreciate your story, though.
Yeah, I love the bowling. That's awesome.
Thanks. I figure it's a good conversation starter if I ever actually get an interview.
Yeah, you will. You will. It's coming on the escalator to you.
All right.
I'm telling.
I like the visuality of that.
Yeah, I sent it on there. I just sent them your way.
All right, Debbie. Debbie's got a new background, or at least looks different from when I talked to her. Debbie.
Gizmo. Oh. Oh, you're muted.
There she goes.
Sorry, I'm at my kitchen table today.
Oh,
So
I love this.
and whatnot. So, Carrie, I was going to ask you, did you just use Chat GPT or did you use multiple different? Did you use Claude or others?
Mhm.
Did you
Oh yeah,
just were you
yeah,
just
like
using one or?
Copilot, the whole gauntlet. And actually that's what I ended up spending a lot of time on was learning. Cause like the first go around with United, I learned about like LinkedIn and all that, how you can network and all that. So, but this go around, since I already had that background, I really focused in on all the new AI stuff out there. And then how you can, of course I wanted the ones that were most cost effective, right? And so
Yeah.
I did a lot with just Chat GPT with the basic stuff, especially for the interview questions. That was the other thing too, for like when I was frustrated when I was at work, I'd get on, instead of like getting up and getting mad at my computer, I would get up and I would walk in the other room and I'd pull up my therapist, as I called her, and I'd be like, she's such a jerk, why do I have to listen to this all day long? Like, what do I say? And then she'd come on and she'd say, well, I would not suggest saying jerk. I would suggest, and so she would actually give me like phrases to use. while communicating with some of these more challenging areas. And so I found it helpful just in my job that I had at the time while I was interviewing too, like to kind of bridge that time to allow you the ability to kind of bridge it. So I I even leveraged it for those type of things as well. But I used a variety of AI tools. So I encourage you to use all of them, and to learn about them. And there's a whole bunch of like on LinkedIn, it'll show like comparisons, and then you can use the AI or ChatGPT to direct you to what is the best AI tool and how can you learn about it for free. And so you can really go down that rabbit hole too, to kind of learn about it in your free time, right? But yeah, I definitely have used several Copilot, Claude, ChatGPT. Those were my main ones.
Thank you, and thank you for sharing today.
Yeah, I did on LinkedIn as well. I did include statistics. So I don't know if you want to look at mine, I tried to include statistics because the bots pick those up. And so do the recruiters that like the bots for the recruiters, they pick them up. So a lot of my LinkedIn, I used AI to write it and say, okay, I want this for this audience, this type of recruiter. What would be beneficial to, sorry, darn fly. What would be beneficial to like a bot to pick up? So I even got like really savvy with that for like my LinkedIn profile. So I used it more for like recruitment versus if it made sense, like why does Carrie have this on there? I didn't care about like what like the networking people saw. It was more about what's going to pull in the recruiters, and then when I'm on an interview, what are they looking at? So that's kind of what I pulled from, was adding statistics in too, if you have any.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up is Matt.
I really don't have any questions. I really appreciate your story. Very inspirational. Congratulations. I appreciate you sharing that. I tend to be pretty I tend to be pretty intense as well. Sometimes I can pop off a 10 to 12 hour day, back to back to back, 70-hour weeks, including weekends.
Yeah.
I've also had to learn to reduce the tenacity a little bit and try not to
Yeah.
burn myself out. I do like you, I use music a lot. I've had to put in a rotation for myself of walking and hiking and swimming and
Yeah.
definitely limit myself on the computer, but really appreciate you sharing vulnerability. It was really good.
Oh yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
We're all in it together. That's what I say. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
however we can help each other.
Next up is Giselle. Thanks, Matt. Giselle?
Muted, maybe?
There she is. She unmuted.
Maybe she's like the double secret rotation. There you are.
Are you there, Giselle?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
We
No.
can. Yes, go ahead.
I'm here. Perfect. I'm upstairs in my house, and the internet apparently with this computer is not the greatest. I don't have any questions, Carrie. I do appreciate you sharing your story, though. That it was helpful and insightful.
Sure.
Thanks, Giselle. Next up is Chris.
No questions either. Sorry, but yeah, appreciate your vulnerability on that. It's really helpful. It's always helpful, even though we know we're in it together. It's helpful to hear that we are, because a lot of your path I'm experiencing now. I feel like, and you can't underestimate a walk, honestly, and then just taking that time to remind yourself, especially before an interview, to pump yourself up and be like, remember how good I was in the job when I was doing well, and it's like I can do that in this next one. And at least that's what I try to tell myself and pump myself up for, these interviews as I've got them coming up, and so that I don't get too overwhelmed. thinking I lost my job, I'm terrible, and what can I even do anymore? And
Yeah.
it's to help pump yourself up for those interviews. It makes a big difference, and it comes across in the interview, your demeanor. So it's important to do whatever works for you to get yourself in the right mindset.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but when I would do it, like for like the interviews themselves, I would prep the day before and
Mhm.
like all the times before, but the actual morning of the interview, I wouldn't touch it.
Yeah, just so you don't get
Yeah,
overstimulated
because
and
then
get
I'd
in
get
your
in my
head
head
about
and
it.
start spazzing, like, oh my God, I got to remember this. And like everything had to be
Mhm.
perfect because I'm like kind of a, OCD or A plus 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 kind of student. And so like, just making sure I have everything in a line, but I did have, like, if you could see my desk right now, I have sticky notes everywhere, like, like stuck to my screen and like scrunched down for your notes and those type of things. Like, I'm telling you, do not underestimate the power of a sticky note. It's very, very helpful sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
I got tons of them.
Okay,
Yeah.
right.
everybody hold their sticky notes up. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. See, I feel better
It's funny, even working at a software company, I tried to, make everything soft instead of hard copy, but even then you need a sticky note here and there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Hey, thank
funny.
you and
Just
congratulations to you.
oh, thank you. Thank you. You guys will all be here soon too.
All right. Next raised her hand is Carla. Where did she go?
Here.
There she
Can
is.
you get me?
Yep.
Hi, Carrie.
Hi.
Congratulations. That's
Thank
very
you.
exciting that you're on the other side.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
I am with you. I have weeks that I don't even get out of bed, and
Hmm.
it's really, really hard. The question that I have for you is, when you use any AI tool, what specific questions will you set up for the recruiter? I
Like a
mean,
prompt. Like what
yes,
prompt?
what will you ask?
Well, I always kind of do goofy things. So
Mhm.
I know the IT guys on this call might have more background, like for a proper prompt, but from a nursing prompt, I would put in there, make me sound smart, make me sound like concise. Those are like how I would get it set up, but I would always put my resume in, and then I would put in the job description. Always start there, and then I would tailor it from there. So give me bullet points to talk to, the recruiter. Give me bullet points to talk because they're different. They're different questions for
Right.
each phase as you go along. So I would really have it tailored to whoever my interview was with, and then I would say, give me bullet points with concise answers using my resume. And then I would say, and then I would pare it down for there. Sometimes I would do a crosswalk because that gives you like a real quick down and dirty like visual. If you're a visual person, use a crosswalk.
Okay.
And so I've done that. That was really helpful. I printed them off and I've stuck them to my computer screen before.
Mhm.
I have 3 computer screens, so like I'm always like, going back and forth on everything. So I have one, but the middle one for your visual, your eyes, when you're talking to them, make sure is, dead on in the middle there. But yeah, so I would do that for a prompt, and then I would say what would make me stand out versus other candidates, like that I should pull from. And then I would say, okay, where are my gaps? And give me anticipated questions on how to speak to those gaps. And then, I would pull it all together at the end and say, okay, all of this, put it all together in a 1-page snapshot. And
Okay.
that's how I would do it. And so I would really like piece it all down and kind of play with it all the way down. But yeah, I'd always start off like, maybe sound smart. I want to sound smart.
Yeah, that works.
and, uh, and definitely the bullets,
Okay. And then, like you, I do have 3 computers. So my
Uh-huh.
laptop that it has the cameras in the very bottom. So my eye level is never there, even though I try to put books and everything else. Do you
Mhm.
recommend it have a to purchase a camera with a microphone to have it higher in an eye level?
I don't think the camera has to have a microphone per se, but definitely put it so that you are, eye level with the computer screen. I do like the difference with the wireless mics. Really, really, really recommend that, especially at executive level. It's really, really important. And I wish I had it on today. I'm so sorry, but I can pilot it next time for Steve or whatever. But I'll get my computer's kind of in shambles now from doing my transition. So I apologize. I don't have it connected, but it's really clear and super, super loud. It sounds kind of like Chris's. Like how Chris is like super loud and comes across really loud. That's how the wireless mics are. But I highly recommend those.
And what is the brand that you use?
This particular one was Rode, I guess.
Okay.
But there's a whole slew of them. You don't necessarily have to use this one. This one is just, there's 2 of them in it, and then it's rechargeable. And then you just hook it to your shirt.
Okay. And for the camera, like I was saying, it's on my laptop and it's really low. Would you recommend it just close the laptop and get a camera, like put it on the wall so my eye level is better
Yeah,
than
or
down?
just put if it's like a laptop or whatever, you can always raise it. This one, let me look here. Try to bring over my camera. This is the one I have that's up on top of my regular computer, the Logitech or whatever. That's the one I use. And then it does have a speaker on it, but I like I said, I like the wireless way better. And then the other thing too that I learned in that training class was the lighting, where your eyes are set, and that I didn't do a very good job of that either. Don't tell my teacher I failed, but they want you closer. They want you closer to the screen because it gives you like that sense of power and control. And put your hands up on the table. Like if you're face to face, put your hands on the table and lean in because it gives you a sense of power and that status wise. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you lean in.
Great. Thanks so much for your tips. And yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day we all gonna be there.
Oh yeah, you guys will crush it. I'm telling you, I already put them all on the escalator. It's all coming to you guys. So whatever one you want, there you go. It's coming your way. Drop them in.
Next up is Allie.
Hi, thank you for sharing. I really appreciated hearing everything you had to say today. A question that I have is when you were sending out all those applications and getting, the rejections that we all get when we're trying to apply for things, how would you approach those rejections? Would you just have them in your inbox and then move on, or would you try to reach out to recruiters at all to be like, hey, how was I not a fit for this or anything like that? Or how would you approach those?
Yeah, the first time around when I was, sent out like the 102, that was my first go around when I first got laid off because it was this new land, didn't know what to do. And I did. I didn't reach out to all 102, but the ones that I were most interested in, 9 times out of 10, they would just say that they went on with a different candidate. They didn't give a lot of feedback or that they felt like I was weaker in utilization management, and they really wanted more of that piece. But this go around, I did not send out. I was much more intentional with who I sent the applications to. I was much more intentional, and I was all about. I wanted a cultural fit. I wanted to be able to be part of a company I believed in. And that aligned with my value systems and that I could grow in. And that would always allow me the ability to be creative because I hate stagnating. It's just like, if there's hell is something, it's going to be for me. It's going to be Black Friday because I hate shopping. And it's going to be, right. and it's going to be all, those type of things. So for me, it's, I think, reaching out, it was a lot easier because I was much more intentional. For this go around, I think it was 25 that I had applied to, and then I got 3 interviews out of the 25, and 2 of the 3 I had gotten to stage 4. And, because they have you do all these assignments and you got all this homework now, it drives me crazy. But that you got to go through the hoops. But so I always, and I didn't have all my eggs in one basket. So I would have like several going because, like once you start the process, you're looking at 3 months minimum, at least, in the insurance world. It's a 3 months, trying to get through all the interviews and everything. So I wanted a constant flow of potentials coming in, not just like I'm waiting 3 months, then I have nothing. So, and then reaching out to the recruiters, I always said thank you, like immediately after. I always sent out a thank you, or if I didn't have like the recruiters or the hiring manager's email, I would reach out to the recruiter and say, please tell, on my behalf, thank you for meeting with me today. I always did that. It wasn't anything really elaborate, but I always sent a thank you. And then I would follow up like on Tuesdays and Thursdays, like I said, with the recruiter and say, so, any news on next steps? Those type of things. Anything I can do to help move the process along quicker for you, anything I can be proactive and provide you, those type of things. And AI will help you write it. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next up is Roger.
Hi, Carrie.
Hi.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah. I thought I recognized you.
If I remember correctly, last time you were very stressed and you were at the 11:59 hour and 59 seconds before you were about to sell your house and
Yep.
claim bankruptcy and everything. And
Yeah, it was bad.
so I think when you see troubled waters coming, wherever you're at, start looking.
Yep.
Don't wait for things to happen to you, And I'm glad you found something else, and hopefully it all works out for you.
Yeah, I agree with you though. And I think life's too short. So if you are at a position where maybe it's not, people laying off or anything quite to that point or reorging, and it's just, stagnated, and look elsewhere, go where you're a cultural fit too. I think it makes a big difference. Gives you life back.
One other thing for all those who are struggling out there, go back and listen to Carrie's first time she did a one of these on finding a new job. It probably would help you a lot um, on dealing with the stress right now of uh, having trouble finding work, and it probably will help you a lot. So,
Thanks, Roger.
Now you're making me go find that, Roger, and put it in the chat. Put it in the chat.
Yeah.
well, I'm pretty sure they're all on YouTube. So
they are, and because of you, it should be in the chat now. There you go. All right.
Oh, that was the
OG. So congratulations, Carrie.
Oh,
yes, that
you.
was the greatest of all times. Yes.
All right.
All right. Next up is Stacy.
So yeah, I loved your story, Carrie. So real, so authentic. And congratulations on your job. You said some things that really resonated with me, being very intentional, about what you want, because I believe, because I'm always very I intentional about what I want. And I think it helps to focus so that you're not all over the place, because a lot of times we're like, well, I'll just take anything, which is okay, but if you want something specific, you should ask for it, because you are going to get what you ask for. It might take longer, and you might, wind up with something temporary before you get your, ideal, but I think it's really good to be very intentional about what you're looking for, but also be open to new things, and if they come up, and not saying no to anything. But being focused on what you want. because I remember one job search I was on where I was very intentional about what I wanted, because I wanted a completely different industry than what I was in. And I focused on that. I focused on that. I focused that. But yet I took other interviews and I was like at the 11th hour where I got an offer, from an industry I didn't want to be in. And then like the next day I got an offer from, like an industry I did want to be in. So, keep your options open, is always good, but knowing, what it is you're looking for is good. And I'm also a big believer in doing less and just sitting back and receiving.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem logical because our minds always want to think, well, we have to put in all this work, if we're going to get a job. And that's not true. It's just a belief. It's just what I don't know. It's just a story. But I have found that it's never true. I never stress out about the job search.
Mhm.
Definitely keeping that balance is so important,
Yeah.
taking, care for yourself. So I don't know, just everything you said really resonated, with me. And I love your points on the executive presence. I wouldn't mind knowing what that class is.
Yeah.
Or like if there's a free version of that somewhere. But
Yeah, there might be. It was offered through the business that I was part of at the time, so we were able
mhm,
to attend that. And she was great, but
yeah.
yeah, and always counter offer. I know, even like
Yep. hmm
I was at 6 months, and I was just like, I would have taken like probably a quarter or fraction of it just to get by. Always counter offer. I did.
Yeah.
And I kind of did it like, do you guys have a sign-on bonus?
hmm
Do benefits start right away? Because sometimes you can get them to get the benefits to start right away.
hmm
And then, and if none of that, then I'd be like, well, I'd at least like to have a lateral move
hmm
financially,
Yeah.
and then bump up your lateral. They can't see what you make,
Yeah, no, and
right?
yes, and that is such a good point because even when I talk to recruiters, so I am looking at contract opportunities because those are a little bit more appealing to me right now.
Mhm.
And they'll say, well, this is the rate. And I said, well, this is my rate. And then
Yeah.
people don't think they have a choice. They feel like they have to take the rate that they're given. But I can tell you, like recruiters, they put such a big markup on their rate. And sometimes recruiters aren't the main recruiter, they're a recruiter working for another recruiter.
Yeah.
So it's always good to know if they're the recruiter who has the direct client or if they're actually just like a subcontractor,
Yeah.
recruiter. So
Uh-huh.
all these like little tricks and stuff. But yeah, I'm just loving your story. And I did have a question offline that I might actually, ping you about because
Sure.
I have been exploring. I don't have the background that you do, but I do have leadership and transformation project management experience, in a strategic role, and I was kind of interested in that, clinical space.
Oh yeah. Project
And I
management
don't,
you could
I
do.
didn't, yeah, I would love to just talk to you and explore that a little bit more. If, you know,
Oh yeah, of course.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because like even with insurance, I'm gonna be in a different like zone of it where, I was in the Medicare Medicaid space, and now
hmm
I'm gonna be going into small business owners
Oh,
providing insurance, which is a different like place to kind of get nestled into. And
uh-huh.
the thing that appealed to me, and I did this on the interview, it was kind of funny, but I told my hiring manager, I said, look, if you want a director of utilization management, like because they had that piece, it was director of care management, but in the job description, they kind of wanted everything because they're a startup and they wanted to really grab at what they could.
Yeah.
And the recruiter told me that, they know it's like a unicorn list kind
hmm
of. And so they're not 100%, you know, going to die on their sword if you don't have everything. So I always had that with me. So when I went into the interview with the hiring guy, who was great, I'm so excited to work with these guys. But I went in and I'm like, look, if you want a director of UM, I am not your girl. I'm just
mm
not. But
Okay.
I can learn. like whatever you want me to learn, I will learn and then some, you know. So I was really transparent with them too on the interview, like, you know, these are my gaps, but make no mistake about it, like I can come in and learn and do some process improvements using this experience, right? So I was very transparent on a lot of those interviews, and actually when I ended up getting the offer, he said it was because I was so transparent. So I don't know, you can't use it for everything, obviously, but when the time's right, like just saying that, like, if you want this, I'm your girl. If not, you know, I'm not. And he asked me, like, what do you like to do? And I said, well, I hate spreadsheets. Can I do them? Yeah. Do I want to do it 24/7? No. I'm more about relationships. So, but you know, so then you can kind of give and take on who's going to take what piece of the puzzle and what you can learn from. But I really dove into, you know, like especially for the interviews, I researched the company, and I got online, like ChatGPT. It's creepy, but you can get on and say, okay, tell me all about this guy. Give me his background. So I knew, like, if he was kid focused, like if he enjoyed sports, if he didn't like this, whatever, right? So when you go into the interview, you can pull some of that out. Like, oh yeah, well, I really enjoy, like, you know, outdoor activities, you know, because I knew that they liked outdoor activities in some of these areas. And then it was like a connection point. The one guy, he was from Iowa. I grew up in Iowa. So I would bring up Iowa. Oh, I was intentional to bring up Iowa because then it's something to connect to. So, you know, researching who you're talking to is really important too.
Yeah, there's been so many amazing tidbits of good tips, like as you're talking to everyone, people are like, I don't have any questions, but yet all this like really good stuff is coming out.
Yeah.
So thank you.
It's kind of funny. Yeah, I learned a lot in that 6 months, I tell you. And I'm like, this go around, I'm not doing it. Just I will not. I will go insane. I will go insane. So
Yeah, thank you.
yeah.
All right. Next up is Ray. Where did Ray go? Is Ray gone? There he is. Are you there, Ray? I got next is Ray, or we'll go to Tammy. If Tammy, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, Tammy, you're next.
Hi, Carrie. Well, congratulations. You're a fabulous speaker.
Oh, thank you.
I just wanted to put out there that if people can afford it, counseling's very beneficial as well.
Yes.
So it is a long road, and hopefully everyone will get a position here quickly, and good luck to everyone, and thanks.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Tammy.
that's a really. Oh,
go ahead.
I was just going to say that's a really good point. So if you still have a position while you're actively looking, a lot of times they have AEP that you can get free counseling. That's a really good point. Because mental health, I'm huge on, especially nursing world. I love behavioral health with the medical; it goes together. But if you're actively looking for a position and have a job, they do offer that through your company.
Thanks. Next is Jason.
Well, good to see you again.
Yeah, I recognize a few of you.
Yeah, there's a few of us here, and I was just looking over the notes from the last time. You said you did the George Costanza thing of doing the opposite, so I thought that was interesting.
Yes,
but
I still do that.
Yeah. So, how hard was it to take the leap of, well, I do still have a job. I don't want to jinx it by starting to look for a new one, because that's got to be tough.
Yeah, it was. But I really looked at the pros and cons. Like, if I stay, what's the worst that can happen if I don't? right?
Right.
So, and I just started exploring and versus like the first go around when it was a gazillion interviews or a gazillion applications rather, not so many interviews, a lot of rejections, I mean, it's so defeating, like the rejection after rejection letter that you get. And I didn't always read them. I think somebody asked me that. No, I didn't always respond. And I didn't read them. I just like, if I started saying we regret to, for it, I just would move on. I didn't even read the whole thing. So
Right.
it's just like, it was a Dear John letter, I'm done. But I think it took the pressure off of me. Like I was taking destiny into my own hands. Like I'm gonna do this for me, and it's on my time, my style, my
Pace.
my right. So, and then it was easier to interview too when I didn't have the pressure of like I don't have a job because
Right.
to the point earlier, I'm telling you, putting on a good face, absolutely brutal trying to lock in. It was brutal. That did take the pressure off of me this go around. Going in and talking and actually being able to focus a little bit more. I mean, my sleep is always terrible, so I do recommend getting better sleep than me. I think it's really important, and that's always something too. Like talking to your doctor about, and if there's something that can help you short term, like with relaxing, if there's any medications or counseling, and you can always go that route too. There's no shame in it. I mean, it's intense. It's no joke.
Oh. And you used a phrase that I didn't recognize, and I'm a software guy. You were saying right then that you should know, but you said crosswalk.
Yeah, a crosswalk. So, and you can do it with all kinds of stuff. I do it with work all the time. Like if you're trying to tie together like main points, what it does is it's like a chart. So you got like up at the top, kind of like an Excel, where you have like the topics and then the topics or whatever, and then it does a crosswalking comparison. Like, for an example, insurance, for example, like you want the Cadillac model, the basic model, the do-it-yourself model, a la carte or whatever. And so it gives a comparison side by side, like this is your copay, and then it goes across all three and shows a copay, for example, but for a crosswalk for doing your interviews, pop it in. I guarantee you're gonna love it. Because it gives a snapshot. Because I'm all about cheat sheets. I'm very visual and writer, type person. Just sitting and having somebody, read it to me. No, I won't retain anything. You'll have to. I'm like 2 seconds tall. I usually you will not. I don't retain anything. So, but yeah. But the crosswalks, it just is like a comparison chart on anything. Okay. You can do it for anything.
All right. Yeah, I guess I just never heard it described that way, but that's,
yeah,
I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do it with laundry detergent. I mean, you can do it with anything.
Right. Well, yeah, no, because I'm picturing going through the Medicare thing of, okay, what Advantage program do we want? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, and by the way, and this year, of course, I'm working with United Healthcare and Optum. So don't hold that against me.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I think they've learned some lessons. So
yeah, because the Optum people seem very proactive in reaching out. So
yeah, they've gotten a lot of lessons learned, and then they have new leadership at the helm, which definitely helps.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can put in a comparison too and say what are the differences. Like you can even get specific and say, what are the best parts about Optum? What are the gaps that in this particular area? Like you can get even that specific with it and it'll spit it out.
Right.
Yeah, you can play around with it.
Well, it's good seeing you again.
You too.
Hopefully it's not a yearly thing, but yeah.
Yeah. I was just like, I don't know about this because I'm telling you after that was the scariest part to your point is like taking the leap of, I just went through hell,
Right.
it was awful. And but I just decided, nope, I have too much integrity and self-worth, and life is too short, and I'm going to find a place that I can land, that I can grow in, be part of, and be proud of. So that was my goal.
Are you working already now, today?
No, I start on the 17th.
Ah.
So, yeah.
I grabbed her as quick as I could, Jason.
Yeah, I just found out last Friday, so it's relatively hot off the press. So
Yeah.
this is a fresh journey for me for sure.
Well, good luck there.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
I have one here we didn't have comment. Ray, are you there? Okay. First of all, I'm going to put it all on, basically should see the Hollywood squares now. Let's give Carrie a big round of applause.
Thanks. Thank you.
And then I'll put Carrie back on for any final thoughts, since she's good at that.
I think number one, don't get in your head that you're defective. You're not. The system is. It's not you. It's the system with the hiring, and it's brutal. So it is definitely not that you're defective. And don't forget to do one thing for yourself every day. That really helped me.
Okay. And when I'm up there, I'm buying you ice cream. Okay. And big round of applause. I'm going to end this recording. Everybody stay on. Again, this is Carrie Brown. Thank you, Carrie.
Yeah, you bet, Steve.